Okay. All right. So here is a quick overview of the product and what the product will do for your customers. I'll go through a couple slides of the main features, and then I'll toggle over and I'll show you some of the goals that we try to accomplish for our builders, and then I'll run you through the software and show you a quick demo of it. And it will be done within the hour. And then if you want to ask questions, we'll stick around and you can ask questions, and we can walk you through the answer hopefully within the software. Okay.
Okay.
All right. So right off the bat, we want to make sure that you know that we focus on construction. We do have a background just for your benefit, and in case this does come up, in the residential construction space. Okay, and what we're really going to be talking about today is commercial construction. Really subcontractors, general contractors, specialty service providers. But if you're doing construction work, if you're an electrical contractor, a roofing contractor, HVAC, we have all kinds of different contractors that use the software that do paving, specialty contractors that do, fire alarm systems or security systems. Some of our builders do water tanks. They're very specialized in water tanks. It's very interesting that how specialized some of our customers can get. And we have the general contractors as well. But in general, this is for commercial builders. And there's specific features of it that focus on the subcontractors, and I'll talk to you about that in a second. But there is a residential contractor module. Keith, are some of your customers residential builders as well?
Yes, they are.
Okay. So the residential product is different. It is for new home sales, not for selling jobs, just to be very clear. So when it comes to the residential construction product, we're talking about selling a home, not selling a job. And we're not going to talk about that today unless you really want to. But that's what that product is about. And if you want a separate demo on that, well, we can certainly do one. Okay.
Yeah. No, we're good without that for right now. Yes.
Perfect. Okay. I just want to make sure I brought that up. Make sure we're all on the same page. Okay. So the important thing to know about our product and our service is that it is focused specifically on construction. Okay. So what does that mean? It means we're selling jobs, not widgets or whatever. We're selling projects, service work, jobs. Okay. And what's also important to note about that is not just what features we're showing you today in the demo today, but think about in the future. What are we going to be delivering in the future in terms of features and functionality? Well, they're all going to be focused on commercial construction or construction because that's all we focus on. And any new features we roll out, again, it'll be focused on construction. We've got a whole list of items that we're working on currently. And again, it's on construction, and we'll continue to focus on construction. So as we grow, as we roll out new features and functions, hopefully they'll increase the value of the software to your customers. Typically, and I'm not gonna promise this, but typically we don't charge for the new features that we roll out, even though we continue to add value. And even though we continue to improve and add features and functions, we don't charge for those. They just come with the subscription that you already have, which is really nice for our customers because they pay the same amount, but yet they keep getting more value out of the software every time we roll out new features. But again, there may be some things that we do charge for. In the past, we have not, but I don't want to be held to that in case we do come up with something that we decide we want to charge for. Okay, so a big portion of it, of course, is CRM, and the big module, the big CRM module is very focused on following up on your opportunities and your leads. We use those terms synonymously, and if you're familiar with Salesforce, they actually have different meanings for leads and opportunities. We don't. It's really the same thing, a lead or an opportunity. It just has a different status. And then as you move your customers, or your customers move their leads through these main three phases, you have the lead phase, the bidding phase, or the proposal phase, and then the construction phase. You change the status as you move them through each phase. What happens is the follow-up and the workflow changes, or can change depending on how you set it up, so that you get reminders and alerts and different things happen as you move them through the system, including putting them on a drip campaign. So, for example, if you lose the bid, if you don't win it and it doesn't go into construction, you can move the opportunity into a lost sale status, and then they get added to a drip campaign, and then you're emailing them on a regular basis, and hope that the next project comes up, or the next service contract comes up. You'll be in front of them. You'll be doing some marketing to them, and you'll be included in the opportunity to bid on that. And we hear, we talk to our customers. I continue to do a lot of the demos, or almost all of the demos, and we continue to listen to our customers. As we set them up and as we support them, we listen to what they say and how they use the system. And we hear stories about how these things work. And one example of that is, a roofing contractor loses an opportunity to do the new construction, but yet they moved them into a lost sale status, and they continue to email the customer, in a nice way, not a spam kind of way. It's, here's a new project that we just completed, kind of thing. And they send them an email maybe once a month or every other month about that. And then what happens is, owners of the buildings change, or the property manager changes on the building, and they don't really remember who did the last service contract, or they don't know who did the original construction, but they get an email from our roofing contractor, and they say, yeah, we need to sign up a new service agreement. Here, come bid on that, and then they get the job without really having much competition. But even as you move them all the way through the process, even construction complete, you do want to follow up on that with a drip campaign or a survey or something, to make sure that you get good information after the job is done. You document what happened on the job, and then also you want to stay in touch with that customer, because most of our customers, and the same with you guys, are repeat customers. They continue to do new work, and they include you on the bid opportunity for that work if you're a subcontractor and they're a general contractor. Or if you're a roofing contractor, you may want to get the service work, or electrical contractor that wants to get inspection work or service work. It continues to come up all the time, and you want to stay in front of that and make sure you get invited to the next RFQ. And so that's how the CRM module works in general. What also happens there is we allow you to store and manage documents along the way. So you can, if there's a service contract, you can attach it to the customer. If there's an RFQ, you can attach it to the job. You can attach information to the contact as well. And then you have all that information. And when I show you the demo, you're going to see for every opportunity, we have all the information about the job, the start date and the end date, who's the estimator, who's the project manager. You have your proposals, you have your documents, all the things are there for the job, including the history and the next steps. And the CRM module covers all of that. Okay, and I'll show that to you in a second. And now we have the bid.
I'm sorry, just for 2 seconds.
Yes,
so
sir.
You're going to be talking about how the interface is with the actual software itself then?
Mm-hmm. I will. And I have a slide on that.
Okay.
And I'll show that to you. and we'll go through how that works. And it's pretty straightforward. And I'll share that slide with you as well. And that's actually on here as well. We'll show that. We'll walk you through all of that. All right. So the next step here is the bid tracking module, and the bid tracking module allows you to basically, if you're a subcontractor and you're managing multiple bids for the same job, what's going to happen there is you can set up a job, and then you can track multiple bids against that same job, and they all roll up together. And so what typically happens if you're your electrical contractor, a roofing contractor, a general contractor will come to you and say, I want you to bid on this job. And then another general contractor will come to you and say, I want you to bid on the same job. And you're managing all those together in the same job. And that way your forecasts, your revenue reports, your sales reports, we even have something called a bid performance report, which you'll only get in a CRM system for construction. All reflect, properly that this was not 5 individual bids. Actually, it's actually one job, and you're either going to win one of those bids or you're going to lose them all. And that way, when you win one of them, the others get closed out and say, well, we didn't lose this. We were just awarded a different bid from a different general contractor. And that way your reports and your performance reports and your commission reports, if you have them, don't show that as a lost sale. And then also, you're also able to track all these together and know, hey, we've got 5 very similar bids going out, and that way you can copy one, create a new one, and just tweak the customer name or modify it slightly for the other opportunity. Okay, and then we also have something called a quote builder or a proposal builder. And the proposal builder, what it does is it allows you to have standard sets of documents inside of CRM. You could have like a cover letter, a proposal letter, the actual proposal itself, references, other information that you typically submit with your proposals. And what you can do is you take those documents and you can combine them together into a proposal, and they're pre-populated right from the job information out of the CRM module. The customer name, the job location, even things like the start date and the end date of the job, all the way down to the project manager, who's going to be submitted on the job. And then it pre-populates the proposal from these templates. Okay, and then it'll generate a single document or a single PDF for you that you can email and track in the system. And once you email that, you'll get alerts when they receive the proposal, and then it automatically sets the status to proposal submitted. And then your reports will say, well, I submitted 20 proposals this month or whatever. And then also the workflow, the follow-up, will be applied. And this really demos very, very well. So I'll save most of that for the demo. It's really, really handy. Now this may overlap, just to be clear, with some of what the Sage Products does a little bit. I'm not sure what Sage Estimating has in terms of proposal generation. It may overlap with that a little bit. I'm not that familiar with it, but we do offer it, of course. And there's no extra charge for it, so it's not like you pay extra to have it. It is included. And let me pause just for 1 second real quick. Sorry. Okay, I'm going to share this again. I'll go back to this. Okay, very good. All right, now the next slide here is talking about our email marketing. Now, this is not traditionally included in a CRM package, but we include email marketing. And so the email marketing, what it does is it allows you, of course, it's connected to CRM. So it allows you to target your emails based on, I mean, you can get down to the very specifics, like the types of jobs that you do for a customer. So let's say if you have inspection contracts or service contracts, which are going to be very common in this area, you may want to target them on an email campaign. Or companies that you've done new construction for, let's say, and maybe you never did any service work for them. And this actually is a real life scenario where we had one customer say, look, we're doing a lot of new construction, but we haven't done enough service work, and that's really our high margin business. That's the business that is less risky because it's much easier to quote those jobs. And we want to go after that kind of business. So we help build them out some email campaigns where they just target their customers that they've done new construction for, and they've done email campaigns to say, hey, you know, we have a service business. Here's a description of it. Here's some testimonials, and here's a link to our website. And so they were able to grow their service business very quickly using our software, and without, you know, some really elaborate marketing and expensive marketing campaign, and it proved to be very successful for them. And that's part of what we have. Now, also, you can put, like we talked about before in CRM, when you move them through the pipeline, you can add them to drip campaigns, and drip campaigns are regular, you know, emails that go out. And if you're a contractor, you may talk about some of the customers you have and the successes you've had with, you know, existing customers. Some of our customers do something called a project of the month. And so they'll send out an email campaign every month to say, here's the project of the month. And they'll highlight it, you know, highlighting the project of the month, and they'll show it to the customer, and then they can click on the website and go to more information if they want. But it's very effective because it's, you know, it shows that they're doing work. They're showing that they're doing, you know, showing them the kind of work that they're doing. And also, you know, pictures are 1,000 words. They show them a picture of the job or the building or whatever. And it comes across really, really well in these email campaigns. We have one customer that all they do is sports stadiums. They're very specialized in doing sports stadiums. And they're a Sage 100 customer as well, by the way. And so they send out email campaigns to say, hey, you know, to a school district, we did this sports stadium, and here's a picture of it, and here's how cool it looks. And then that school district, when they want to do, you know, they open up a new school or they need a new stadium, you know, they'll look to this company to do it. Now, of course, we have reporting and dashboards, and I'll just demo that for you because it's really a, you know, you have to see it to really get the power of that. But reporting and dashboards and analytics is ongoing. We're always adding new reports. Keeping that on the slide would quickly go outdated anyway, so we'll just show that to you. And then we have the interface, which you asked about. So let me show you what the interface does. Now, this is very similar to some interfaces that we have in production already. And we'll talk to you about how it's going to work. Now, with Sage 100, it's essentially going to be two-way interface to keep your jobs, your customers, your contacts all in sync, and your work orders in sync. So the way that'll work, Keith, is when a new job is awarded or a work order is awarded, we'll send it over to Sage 100. We'll create the job in Sage 100. We will add the job or the work order to the customer in Sage if the customer exists in Sage, along with the contacts on that job. Now, if it's a new customer, then what we will do is we'll go ahead and create the customer, create the contacts, and then add the work order or add the job directly to that customer. And then from that point on, what we do is we keep the customer and the contact and the job information up to date, basically on a 24-hour basis every night. So if the job status changes within Sage 100, okay, we'll update CRM and we'll say, okay, the job is completed as an example, and then we'll apply the workflow for the job completed status. Send a survey, follow up with the customer for the next round of work, things like that, automatically in the system. And just so you know, part of the workflow has reminders and alerts. I think I mentioned that before in CRM. But what's important about this is, the project manager on that job, he or she may not know that the job has been wrapped up. I mean, you would think they would know, but they may not know right away. And then all of a sudden, the status is changed to completed, and then they'll get an alert in CRM to say, okay, you need to go contact the customer, initiate a survey, maybe initiate kind of a wrap-up routine on the job, and also, of course, ask for the next opportunity. And then they'll get an alert, a text message alert, an email alert, or it'll show up as a calendar appointment for them. Or it'll just be a task in TopBuilder CRM. Okay. Now, what we also use this interface for, which is really, really nice, is if you have a customer that's already on Sage 100 and they want to set up CRM, it will pull in all their customers and all their contacts from Sage and seed the CRM account. And that's very helpful because, you're starting CRM and, you have an empty database of customers. You connect it to Sage 100, it'll pull in all your customers and all the contacts and all the jobs and the job history, add them to the customer, and then you're off and running and you're ready to go. Okay. Does that make sense, guys?
Yep. No.
Okay. All right. So just a little caveat on that one. Sometimes, because Sage is awesome and Sage 100 is awesome, but Sage 100 is not CRM. And CRM systems contain sometimes a lot of other information that Sage 100 won't have, and it should, because they don't have the same purpose. They'll pull a file out of Sage into Excel, and then they'll append, they may be on Act, which happens a lot, or they may be on Salesforce, and they'll append all the CRM related data to the Excel file, and then they'll send it to us and we upload it for them. And then they have all the information on their customers and their contacts when they get started. And I just want you to know, and I want your customers to know, I have a slide in here on this, that we help them get set up and started. I mentioned a couple times about the workflow and how you set. I said specifically, how you set up as a customer the workflow. We actually help you get that set up. We don't just turn the system on and say go. We go through a very structured setup and implementation process, and this is what it looks like. We set up their account. We set up their users. We configure the account with the job types, with the statuses, with the priorities, what they want to track in terms of why they win jobs, why they lose jobs, what industries they work in, what sub-industries they work in. We do that setup for them. They do not have to set that up.
Is that at a set fee?
I'm sorry?
Is that at a set fee, or?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah.
It's not an hourly fee. It's a flat fee. And that's very important to note, because if sometimes customers get, they've been through this with other companies before and they don't want to go through it again, where they get nickeled and dimed to death on every setup item. No, it's one flat fee. And that one flat fee also includes their training, their setup, setting up the interface, connecting to the interface, all of those things are included in the setup. And what we do after we get them all set up is we walk them through an account review. An account review is one-on-one review of how their account has been set up, basically what you've told us to do, but we walk you through what it looks like in the system. And then we also show you how to change the setup if you want to, how to change the workflow or how to change the statuses. We even set up unlimited, and I didn't mention this, my goodness, I should just add this now, but unlimited user-defined fields. Okay, so we have, maybe hopefully it'll fit on here. I'll add it right now. And that includes setting up all their all their user-defined fields. And they can change those if they want to, but we have user-defined fields for customers, contacts, jobs, opportunities, and that's it. So you can have separate user-defined fields for your customer contacts. Is this guy has certain engineering qualifications, and you can track those. You can track information about your customers. You can track information about your jobs. You can track information about the actual opportunity itself, and that's very important. And we help set all that up as well. Okay. All right. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and fire up the software for you guys, and I'll walk you through an end-to-end demo, and then we'll leave a little time for questions. All right, so let me share that screen. This is not actually what I want to share, but you'll see it in a second. Okay, there we go. All right, so I'm going to log in with my Sage demo login. And do I need to zoom in at all, guys, or can you see this okay?
It's good.
Okay. All right, so this is what the dashboard looks like when you log in. And the dashboard is configurable by role so that you can add, let's say if you're an estimator, you can see a little section on the estimates that you're working on, the jobs or the bids that you're working on. If you're a project manager, you might see the projects that you're working on. If you're a salesperson, it may look very similar to this, where you see your opportunities, okay? You can see the history behind each opportunity and the next steps right here on your dashboard. You can see your tasks, which are, part of the follow-up. If you want to follow up with a survey, or if you want to follow up with a phone call to a customer, after a bid has been submitted, it'll show up here as a task. Part of CRM as well is also letting you know when you have new opportunities. I just want to make sure you know that is part of the workflow. So if a new opportunity comes in, your project managers or your estimators can be alerted to say, hey, you have a new job or new opportunity. It'll provide you with a link to all the details. It'll also tell you when the bid is due, all the details about the actual job, and that way you can take action. And then it'll also have on your dashboard due dates for bids. If you have a bid that's due Friday at noon, and we track the hour, or actual hour of when a bid is due, it'll show up here and say, hey, look, you have a bid that's due tomorrow at noon. And you'll get an alert and a reminder to make sure that doesn't, get lost and you miss that opportunity, but you'll have it. And you'll also have calendar appointments. The TopBuilder CRM has a calendar, but it also sends calendar appointments to your Outlook or your whatever calendar you use, like Google, and a lot of our customers use Google. It's kind of a generic calendar appointment that you can save to your calendar, and then you have those reminders and alerts on your calendar.
Is that bi-directional? If you put it in like Office 365, would it move back down?
No, it's not.
Okay.
It's one way. So
Okay.
it's Top Builder and the CRM is very task driven. It's not necessarily a project management tool, but if you have a task and it says you have to do something, or even if you want to set up a task for a meeting or whatever, or just put it here, okay, it will send it to your Outlook. Okay. But not, as you mentioned, not the other way. If you put something in your Outlook or Office 365, it's not going to ping Top Builder and say you have a calendar here as well. Okay. Maybe someday, but right now the answer is no. Under CRM, you have your ability to manage your opportunities. Okay. And this becomes sort of like a dashboard, because it has all your opportunities. You can configure the dashboard. You can move columns around. You can take action right from here and say, look, I have a project and I want to add a note to that project right here, or I want to add a task, or I want to add history, or I want to upload a document. Let's say they submitted an RFQ. Now, we'll capture RFQs, by the way, guys, off their website or directly from the system, and it'll send out alerts and reminders. But sometimes it could come in through an email, and then you can attach those directly to the job from here. And then you can sort and filter as needed. Now it remembers this every time you log in. So even if you're on page 4 here and you're managing your opportunities, the next time you log in, it'll take you back to page 4. Okay. And you may be sorting by, let's say, I want to look at all the invitations to bid. It'll remember that as well. And you're working on those. Or maybe you're working on all the ones where the bids have been submitted. Okay. And you've got 20 here and you're trying to follow up on them. You may directly go through all these 20 bids on one Friday afternoon and start calling all these folks just to follow up on them. Okay. And then what you might do is after you call them, you may add history to say, hey, I left a voice message, add a next step, and then also add a note to say, we look like we're going to get this one, or I talked to the customer and they said, everything looks good. We're just kind of getting final signatures, or you know the drill. All right. Obviously.
So how about communication tracking with that stuff? So if you get an email from that customer you got there.
So that's part of this, and I'm going to drill down into a job. And like I said, I'd like to answer your questions by showing it to you. So you're able to manage those emails that go back and forth between your customers. We call it the email conversation. If you can see that right there, and you click on it, it's going to show you the emails that have gone back and forth from your customer, even from Outlook. Okay. And so when you're emailing your customers from Outlook or Office 365, we're going to capture the history for you in here, okay? And you'll have it attached, and you'll be able to see it, okay? Now, you'll also be able to see all kinds of things. For instance, you'll be able to see even if they opened an email. You'll even be able to see if they clicked on an email to maybe go get more information, or maybe they opted out of your emails. You can see that as well. I don't have it in this particular one. Or if they, because we also prepare newsletters for our customers. Excuse me, they may have unsubscribed from the newsletter, and you'll see that here. Okay. Does that answer your question okay, Keith?
Yes.
Okay, good. All right. So I'm going to come back to that in a second and show you some more detail. And I'm tracking the time. We're getting kind of close here. But obviously, you're able to go in here and manage your customers. And with each customer, you're able to manage all the contacts at the customer, their addresses or the locations, any follow-up tasks that you might have for a customer. So just so you know, even if you create a follow-up task for a job or an opportunity, that will roll up to a customer, okay? And it'll attach the follow-up task to the customer as well. And when you're looking at the customer record, like I'm doing here, you'll be able to see the follow-up. And this is very important, obviously, to see what the next steps are with a customer, but also the history for the customer. So when you complete a task, okay, and that task was assigned to a job, but that job is also assigned to a customer, you'll see for the customer every email. You see all these emails, or every proposal, or every time somebody at the customer opened an email, or you have all that in one place. You'll also have notes on the customer, documents and photos for the customer. You'll see all the proposals that you ever sent to a customer. You have the job history for a customer. And by the way, this will come out of Sage as well. Okay. So even though a job may not have originated in CRM, okay, because a lot of jobs will not originate in CRM. They'll go directly into Sage. You know, for example, somebody picks up the phone, calls the customer, says, I need some work done right now. I have an emergency. Something's broken, right? And that's a customer that you don't have in CRM, all right? That customer will go directly into Sage, and then it'll flow down into CRM at night, and we'll add all the job history to those customers, new customers and existing customers, and you'll see all that in here, okay? And the reason why this is very important is we'll show you customer revenue, because we'll have revenue for customers of all their jobs in here on some reports, but also just from a general CRM customer management perspective, you have all the data and all the history for your customers right here, including all the jobs that you've ever done for them. And you also have financial history on them, you know, credit, balances, invoice history, and all those things as well. And then so if you're picking up the phone and you're going to call a customer, you'll have everything you need. You'll have all the history, okay? You'll have all the notes. You'll have all the jobs. You'll have all the financial history. If they're using a third-party bidding software, we'll connect them to the bidding software too, and we'll put all their bid history in here as well. Which is it looks like I may have an internet problem here. Can you guys see this okay? Keith, are you there? Uh-oh.
Please enter your access code followed by the... To enable audio controls, please enter your audio PIN followed by the pound or hash sign. If you do not have a PIN, just press pound.
I'm back. Let me refresh this. Beautiful. There you go. Okay, so I'm gonna stick on my phone here if that's okay. Actually, no, I'm gonna go back.
Okay, guys. Can you hear me okay, Keith?
Yeah, we're good.
Okay. Sorry for the interruption, but we're back. We're live again. So I was talking about the email marketing campaigns, and I'll just show you that. So they can go in here and they can create an email campaign by entering the subject of the email that they want. And then I mentioned the branding that we do for the templates.
Yeah.
Hopefully we're not losing the connection again here.
Maybe somebody's digging in your backyard there.
Hopefully not. I'm sorry for that.
Do you guys have a demo website we can have a look?
Yes. What we can do is we can give you a login, and you can go in and kick the tires. We do this for the other Sage partners, and then you can go in there and you can run your own demos if you want to. So yeah, let me take an action item to send you the presentation, and then also I can set you up with your own login, and I can actually give you this one as well that I'm using right now. If you don't put any data that I wouldn't want to show a customer to in there. So I'll do that as well. But here's how you pick these layouts or these formats, and we give them an unlimited number of formats. So you're not restricted to these, but we'll create separate templates or separate layouts for them. And then if they pick a layout, and then they can target the email, okay? And so let's say I just want to target, let's just say I want to target general contractors, or I want to target building owners. And this is very common for construction, where they want to target the building owners for service contracts or warranty work or preventative maintenance agreements or property managers. You know, they can target them on an email. And then we have all these other parameters. We can say, I just want to find new construction jobs, and I want to target them. And then once they do that, they can enter the content of the email, some text, some images, and some links. And then when they preview it in the template, this is their branding. So their branding is here, links to their social media pages, and then this will match their website, the colors and the fonts, as I mentioned. And then what we do is we take, information from their website, and we build out a little promotional section and then a footer down on the bottom, okay, for them. Now, they don't have to use a fancy format like that. They can pick a plain format, and then that email looks completely different, if they pick a different layout or a different format. But then once they do all of that, they can schedule it and send it, and then they can track it. And tracking, of course, allows them to see who received the email, who opened the email. If there's a duplicate, it'll even show them there's a duplicate. If they opted out, if they click on a link. And again, this all ties back into CRM and is connected to the history for the customers, the contacts, and the jobs. So if Howie here is on a job and they open this email, you'll see it in the history for that job. It's really, really cool. Okay. Now, reports, we could do a full demo on reports, but real quickly, I'll just show you that we have essentially 4 different kinds of reports. We have canned reports, okay, which are, of course, fixed reports. that, this one's showing your sales funnel, who's working on them, where they are in the process. We have report builders, which is the second kind of a report. And this is where you can go in and drag and drop fields onto a report. Okay. Let's do new opportunities, bids submitted, jobs awarded, lost sales. Let's go ahead and crank out a report. Let's say I want to see by activity type. Let's say I want to see a report by number of each one of these activities over each month. And then I want to see it by salesperson. Okay. So salesperson, activity, and how many. So for Dave, I want to see how many bids did Dave submit this year. Now let's widen this up a little bit. Let's do it for this range. From October the 1st through the end of February, he submitted 27 bids, was awarded 4 jobs, lost 1 sale, and had 26 new opportunities. And I just showed you how to build a report in basically 5 seconds. And then what I can do is I can save this for the next time I log in, and it's available to me. Okay. And so that's the second kind of report, is the report builder. The third kind of report is really Excel exports. And this allows you to export data and do your own reporting, okay, which is pretty straightforward. But then the fourth kind of report are custom reports that we build for the customer and add it to their custom report menu. So we have all those kinds of reports. And I want to tell you, for the reports, every report that we have in the system is exportable to PDF, Excel. You can even export it to a JPEG or an image or text or even an HTML page if you want to. I don't know why, but that's available for you. The Content Center, real quickly, allows you to store and manage all kinds of different content in the system. Everything from a checklist to proposal templates to Excel worksheets, PDFs. You may put all your references in here that you want to add to a proposal, or a checklist for preparing an RFQ. So if I type in checklist here, or just check, I may find a proposal submittal checklist. So in other words, here's all the things that I need to go through to prepare a proposal. And that can be added to a task. Okay. And now included with the Content Center, guys, is the ability to upload documents, either Word, Excel, PDF, images, but it also includes a fully functional Word editor or Excel editor, so that once you upload a document, you can edit it right here on the fly. And then if you want to, you can edit it here, or if you change it on your hard drive, you can just upload a new version right off your hard drive, and then you have the latest and the greatest in the Content Center. And this is really handy because you can go in and say, well, look, I want to see all the proposal templates that I have for a particular division or for a particular person that I have assigned a proposal template to. Maybe Eric has his own template that he uses for all his proposals because he only focuses on service contracts. So you can assign a template to him, or you may have his cover letter or whatever in the Content Center. It's a very handy place to store and manage documents. Okay. Then we have the Help Center. Now this is extremely important because the Help Center not only has helpful videos and how-to guides, but what we include in our subscription is unlimited training and unlimited support. And it's not, unless we go on site, there's no charge for it. So you can attend a training class every day of the week, okay, Monday through Friday. You can send an email to our support inbox, or you can call us and we'll take care of you. And that's unlimited as long as you're a customer. We don't charge for it. Okay, very, very important. Of course, we have training material, how-to guides, what's new, all those things within the Help Center as well. Okay, and then we have this search bar. And the reason why this search bar is so important is because when we connect it to Sage, and Sage has a customer number in Sage, you can go into CRM and simply type in the Sage customer number, and you find that customer that fast. And you see how quick that was. And so I went in, I found my Sage customer just by typing the Sage customer number right in the search bar, and I got them. Now you can also type in part of somebody's email address, and you can find them as well. See how fast that was? Or if you have a job number from Sage, you can type that in as well and find the job from Sage right in the CRM that quickly. Okay, now I'm going to wrap up real quick with the bid tracking and the proposal builder, because this is really cool, and then you can ask questions. Okay, so the proposal builder, the bid tracking module, allows you to go in and see all the bids that you're working on, and then also see all the bids that you're tracking for an individual job. So in this case, as an example, I've got 4 bids for this one job. Okay, I can also have a bid calendar opened up, and I can see all the bids that I have outstanding for all of my jobs on this one calendar. And it shows when the bid is due. It shows what the job is, who's working on it, the status, and the size of the job. And if I want to just collapse this down and show all the bids that Ashley's working on, or all the bids that Brooke is working on, or all the bids that Dave is working on, I can do that right here on the screen. Okay? But now that I'm looking at all my bids that I'm tracking for each job, I can drill down on one of those. Okay? And as I drill down on one of those, I can see all the details for that job, the size and the amount of the job, the status. I have a user, this is a user-defined field right here, okay? And I can have unlimited user-defined fields. I can also have the unlimited user-defined fields down here at the job level, on the job details. So some of our customers, for example, track on-site equipment. How much time does it take to prepare estimates? They track that. They track the competitors. If they're sometimes electrical contractors track square footage of the job. Again, unlimited user-defined fields. I have my bids and my proposals. I'll come back to that. I have my follow-up, my history, my notes, my documents, and then what happens under the history, let's say I move them into preparing bid status, you'll see how the follow-up plan changes as I change the status. Okay, I don't know if you saw that, but it came through and changed a new status for me and the new plan. Okay? But now, if I want to go and prepare proposals, I can put an estimate ID on there. I can set the bid due date, the bid amount, and then I can assign estimators to that job right from here. Okay? So I can have multiple estimators working on this job, and then I can send them alerts to say, hey, you have a job that you need to prepare. Now I can go in here and I can build out a proposal, and this is the cool part, is I've got a proposal that I'm preparing for this customer. I have 5 different documents that I've included on that proposal, and I've added an attachment or an addendum. Now, each one of these documents is a separate document that I pulled out of my content center. I have a cover page, and it has what we call merge fields or database fields that go right on the proposal. And this is an example of what it looks like. I can actually edit it if I want to using the word editor right in here. So let's say you take a standard document and you want to just change it a little bit. You can do that. The second document is the cover letter. Okay. And again, these are fill in the blank fields all here, including the location, the job name. So if I toggle real quickly, you'll see that. You see the database fields show up? I can turn that off and just show the example data, and you can see how it fills in the blanks. And then I can see the actual proposal itself. This is the price. I'm showing you the specs that they submitted, and now I'm showing you the proposal, the fourth document. And this is what's included. You know, the breakdown of the cost, and then what's included, and then I have references. Okay, this is the reference document. Now, if I view this inside the proposal viewer, you can see that it created one document. It filled in the blanks for me. Okay, the location of the job, the description, even down to the project manager that's submitting the job. It added the specs, added the proposal, and then it added the references. Okay, and then if I can email it straight out of the system. Okay, and then it attaches the proposal as a PDF, and I'll show you what that looks like. There you go. So that's the proposal. It looks really, really, really nice. And then when I email it, okay, I can get alerts when they received it. Email alert, text message alert, right here from my screen. And then when I send it, again, it'll change the status to sent or proposal submitted, and then I have an updated status. Now, one thing that I didn't tell you about is you can upload Excel documents, okay? And on those Excel documents, you can reference pieces of the Excel document in the proposal. So we interface with Excel, you could say. And so I can insert Excel data off that worksheet right into my proposal. And then if I change the worksheet, the numbers change automatically on the proposal. So if I have a bottom line price, or if I have a list of what's included, I can add those Excel cells directly to the proposal. And again, they're included in the proposal. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay, great. I mean, that's it. That's the demo. That is all the different pieces. I think I covered everything. So if you have any questions, let me know.
Well, a couple questions. So is this web-based, or is this back in the
No,
office?
it's fully web-based, and it lives outside of their firewall. And so the question does come up a lot about integration outside, because Sage 100 is installed on premise, I think, for the most part.
Yes.
It will interface across the firewall into their Sage 100 system. There's a program that will run inside their firewall that will be a TopBuilder Solutions program, and that will communicate with TopBuilder outside of the firewall, if that makes sense.
How often? How frequent?
It depends on the information. Let me show you on the slide if I could. Let me share the slide with you. For new jobs, okay, it's real time. So where's my interface? Okay, for new jobs, for this part right here, that's real time. Well, within 5 minutes. Okay, so every 5 minutes it'll ping the system and say, do I have a new job to send to Sage? Yes or no?
Yeah.
And it'll send it. Okay. When the statuses are updated, it will do that as well. So every 5 minutes it'll check for status updates and update the statuses. Now for new customers and new jobs that go directly into Sage, that's every night.
Okay.
Now it doesn't have to be that way, but that's my answer right now.
Yeah. No, that's good.
Okay, so that's that one. Is there any other questions?
No, I mean, it looks like a very nicely configured system for construction people. I think you're dead right?
Thank you.
I mean, somebody that's getting into Salesforce or even the Sage CRM system, to configure it the way you guys have got it would take a lot of time.
Yeah, that's true.
And so, it certainly makes sense that, this would be bundled in with a construction package because it's already set up exactly the way they think. The way that you've got the bids so that the bids are eliminated when you're actually got, 4 based on exactly the same job. I mean, yeah, that's something that would be, almost impossible with the other guys. So
I appreciate that feedback very much. We work really hard and we do the best we can to solve the problems that commercial contractors have. But I will say that we're not perfect, and we're always listening to our customers and trying to get better. So I'll tell you right now, this bid opportunities or the bid tracking module came directly from a customer request. And we didn't know that this was such an issue in the industry until they brought it to our attention. And they said to us, this was an electrical contractor, by the way, and they said, look, we have no way of tracking our bids against a single job. And I said, you've got to be kidding me. How's that possible? And they said, well, we've looked, and there are a couple systems out there that do it, but it's not part of an overall CRM system. So while we're tracking a bid, we're not able to track customer information. We're not able to track, all the jobs for our customers. We're not able to track all the opportunities that we have for customers, even if it doesn't go to a bidding opportunity. It doesn't work for us. We need bid tracking within CRM, and so we built it. And I appreciate your feedback on the Salesforce thing too, because we hear that as well. That a lot of our customers were Salesforce customers and continued to spend a lot of money to configure or customize Salesforce, but yet they keep spending money and it still doesn't get them where they want to be. So I do appreciate your feedback.
So perfect. Well, any other questions you got, Richard?
Do you have a demo for the estimating portion?
For the bidding?
Yeah.
It's all one demo. It's all together, but we don't have a separate estimating module.
Okay.
It's everything I've shown you today is included with the one demo login. And we'll give you a login for that. And you can go in, you can demo this for customers. I think I'm going to set up a separate demo login for you, just because we keep this one clean for our own demos. No, it's everything I've shown you is under one login, and we don't have a separate estimating module.
Okay.
We work with like Sage Estimating, because most of the customers we have, if they're not on Excel, and a lot of them are using Excel for estimating still, and that's fine,
Yeah.
Especially if you're under 15 million, like you said, that they're probably still using Excel. We'll interface with their estimating software.
Okay.
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 Good.
Hey,
Well, thank you very much.
I'll send you a link to the recording as well.
Great. That would be wonderful.
Okay.
And then send me some information on the business partner stuff. We'd be interested in that too then, please.
Yeah, okay, for sure. So I have 4 action items. Send you the presentation, send you a login, send you the information about the business partner agreement, and then finally, oh, the recording. Sorry, the recording.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Thank you, guys. And
Thanks.
and just real quickly, just so you know how it works for your customers, all you have to do is email myself or Eric, and preferably just include both of us on the email, and just tell us you have a customer, they're interested in CRM, and we'll capture them in the system as your customer. And then that way, in case there's any conflict down the road, if you send them to us first, we've got them logged in as your customer. And that way there's no confusion down the road.
Yeah, no problem at all.
And we respect the relationships that you have with your customers. We'll never contact them without your approval. And then if we do start doing demos with the customers, we'll include you on the communications we have with the customer, and you can decide whether you want to attend the demos or not. You don't have to. We'll represent you well. We'll make sure we understand that they're your customer, but we'll also, invite you to the demos if you want to be there.
Yeah, no problem. And really, I mean, all we want to do, guys, is this. So we try to build relationships with guys like you. It's a win-win relationship that gets built. So the customer really, I don't care if you're talking to them. We just need to know when you're doing it is all.
Absolutely. And we will respect that relationship, make sure we copy you on any communications we have with the customer, just to keep you in the loop. And then we'll treat them very professionally. I mean, we're used to working with companies like yourself, and we'll be representing you, and we will be an extension of your company, so to speak.
Perfect.
When we work with them. Okay?
Great.
Thank you.
Well, thank you very much. Get some sleep.
Yeah. It's going to be a while before I'm all caught up, but